Hello and welcome to my blog on this September 4th, 2012. Today I want to talk about serious folk. I'd like to start by reading something from Socrates. Socrates was asked, "Are you not ashamed, Socrates, of a course of life which puts you in danger of the death penalty?" To him I fairly answer, Socrates says, "You are mistaken, my friend, if you think that a man who is worth for anything ought to spend his time weighing up the prospects of life and death. He has only one thing to consider in performing any action, that is, whether he is acting rightly or wrongly, like a good man or a bad one. So long as I have life and strength, I shall never cease from the practice and teaching of philosophy, exhorting you and elucidating the truth for everyone that I meet. I shall go on saying in my usual way, 'My friend, you are an Athenian, and belong to a city which is the greatest and famous in the world for its wisdom and strength. And yet, are you not ashamed that you give your attention to acquiring as much money as possible, and similarly with honor and reputation, and care so little about wisdom and truth and the greatest improvement of the soul, which you never regard or heed to at all?'" Whoa. Socrates is definitely one of my heroes. And when I talk about serious folk, Socrates is saying most people in Athens and the world are more concerned with money and their reputation than they are with truth and wisdom and the own goodness of their soul. And unfortunately, this seems insanely true. So much so that serious people have more to talk about than people who affirm the same beliefs. I'm learning that to have a conversation with somebody who claims to believe the same things many times is less stimulating than somebody who is also seeking or curious about what is true. That doesn't simply live life to be comfortable. But you know what? Most people they turn off a conversation about what is true, about reasons for things, about logical arguments, about why this could be that way, or the complicatedness of everything. Nobody wants to hear that. What we want to hear is, don't worry about it, we're all fine, do what you do. Go sit in your air condition and eat your potato chips. That's what we want. We want to sit in our air condition and eat our potato chips and watch our television. And nobody even cares about what is true. The thing that makes you different in our world is caring about what is true. And is this new? Is this a modern man thing? No, obviously not. Socrates ran into the same thing. And you know what they did with Socrates? They killed him. But you know what's great about Socrates? Is Socrates knows there's nothing you can do to a good man. You can never change him and make him bad. He has to make himself bad. But this is my point. Why don't we care? Is life just that? About being comfortable and then dying, buried in our grave, the end? So while we're here, we should try to make Earth as pleasant as possible, right? I mean, butterflies and rainbows all the way. Woohoo! Sports all the way. Movies all the way. Let's see how we can... You know what the word entertainment means? The word entertainment means to hold one's mind. I don't want anyone holding my mind. I don't need to be entertained. My mind has so many thousands of things that it's contemplating right now. Why would I need something to entertain me? But you know what? That's the world we live in. We live in a world where people would rather watch football than they would talk about what is true. We live in a world where everybody would rather discuss who's the best actor, the best something in regards to entertainment, a game. Something so frivolous, something so insignificant as a sport. When truth is gone. And if you bring up truth, then you're the crazy one now. You're the weirdo because you care about it. You're the weirdo because you're trying to figure out what's right, what's good, and what's true. What you're supposed to do is just sit there and watch television and eat yourself in the fat oblivion while, I guess, truth goes on. This is so sad. It's not new, but it changes with individual people, still yet. And one of the ways it happens is exactly what Socrates was doing, by questioning people. Really? How do you know that? What makes you come to such a bold conclusion without any evidence or any knowledge that you could have made or had to reach such a bold conclusion? I think we could all do us a favor by revisiting Socrates. Life's not about simply eating. Life's not simply about getting money. Life is about being good. And you know what? You can't control how much money you have. Most of the time, you can't even control your reputation. But the thing you can control is whether or not you're good. And once you recognize that this is the thing that we have to hold on to, that we're here to be good, godly, good and God go together. I'm almost certain they stem from the same word, obviously, right? Good and God. So the whole point is in being godly. And you know who makes that decision? Your boss. No. You know who makes that decision? The government. No. You make that decision, just like Socrates was saying. Socrates is saying, make that decision. Be good. Don't worry about these other things. And lots of times they follow through. But seek the truth. Argue, because it's worth it. Because the truth is worth arguing about. Fight, because the truth is worth fighting about. If the truth is not worth fighting about, watch TV. Enjoy your football. But if the truth is worth fighting about, then fight. Argue for what you understand and try to come to a better understanding of what you can understand. I think we should take heed to what Socrates is saying. But you know what? This is even intense too. What the men of Athens were saying to Socrates is, Socrates, don't you realize that we're going to kill you? Did you hear Socrates return? They say, aren't you ashamed, Socrates, that you're doing something that's eventually going to get you the death penalty? And Socrates replies, are you not ashamed that you're so concerned with being comfortable and pleased with money and reputation that you forget and take no heed to the things of truth and wisdom and the goodness of your soul? I think Socrates is a prophet, not only for his time, but for our time. My life sometimes feels like a football fan. Let's use that illustration. A football fan, and nobody else really likes football. And then you finally find somebody that likes football. But I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan and they're a Redskins fan. But there's so few people who like football that your greatest enemies end up being your greatest friends, because so few people care. And that's the way it is with truth. It's like sometimes your greatest enemies in conclusions are your greatest friends in the fight, because it seems like your greatest enemies are the only ones that care enough to seek. We live in a sad world. And I'm afraid we're going to comfort our ways straight to hell. And most of the people who claim to know the truth are going to pat us on the back as we go there, saying they love us. Go on. The unexamined life is not worth living, Socrates also said. If you're not looking at your life and saying, what is it that I live for? Socrates says, it's not even worth living. Do you live an examined life, a life worth living? Or do you live a comfortable, entertained life? A life, Socrates would say, is unworth life. I pray this helps. I hope to be a little Socrates. Thank you for watching.